report from the WSIC Weather Center.
I need some real talk. Oh, I need some real talk. Give me some of that real talk.
Today's Real Talk, you're listening to it today already in the afternoon on this Monday. Welcome in Justin Ckezepis, your host liaison for the hour, North Carolina attorney, real estate broker, and investor, joined today by a top-notch broker in the community, Mr. Josh Deering himself of Serhant, North Carolina, and the Deering team. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
You said you want to look me in the eye today with my questions. You didn't want me to throw you off.
Well,
and
you know
all,
what?
so.
I need to read where these questions are coming from.
They're all in it from a good place.
Yeah, exactly.
Mills Market in Cornelius passed, I believe, last week at the town board meeting. Your thoughts?
Awesome. I mean, look, the more we have going on, the more opportunity it's going to help me. And then, I mean, there's several things going on right now in Cornelius with the brewery, Mills Market. What else we got? I'm just thinking.
Well, we were just talking about develop infrastructure projects, particularly the widening of roads. We were talking about Bailey Road. You've got an industrial listing out there. Let's talk about the uncertainty of improvement projects and how is it affecting, from your perspective, your relationship with the seller, with potential buyer clients, with other agents that are inquiring about the property. This uncertainty of when or even if road improvement projects will indeed happen.
I think right now it's very tough because you have a listing and you know that there are going to be some major changes to that property. The problem is there's nothing solid in stone of what may be. And so trying to explain that to a buyer when a buyer wants to know how much they're taking, if they're taking any type of property for any road expansions, eminent domain, what kind of value they're going to get for that, whatever they take.
Yeah.
And just trying to relay all that to a buyer can be tough. And then especially with the seller, it's like, you try to you paint the picture in your listing to make sure buyers understand as much as they can understand with this property and how it's going to go. And you want it to sell, but sometimes it just takes some time, man.
It definitely restricts almost what the highest and best value is. Not that it won't, become that. It's just we don't know what that really is right now. And that's an adjustment mentally. That's a pretty difficult one to make. I would say in the industrial field specifically, I've done rezoning on a couple of industrial parcels in Lincoln County. The process for industrial, it was the hottest ticket item in my opinion, and I say that even above multifamily through COVID, because of that particular use type is one of the most versatile use types for commercial businesses.
Right.
It's not just like concrete production facilities when you think of industrial. You're talking about like flex space for retail, ground floor retail. You're talking about like yards for people to keep supplies and trucks and that kind of stuff. Even these condo, bachelor man caves that they're building everywhere now, right? Like all of those factors go into industrial.
Yeah, I think, and even like some of those smaller microbreweries and things like that we've, obviously breweries have been huge around here. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me about that. And then, there's a big lack of not storage, self-storage, okay? We know there's a lot of that.
Everybody wants that one.
Right. But what you were just saying about, you're potentially storing things like your cars, right?
Or an HVAC company with their trucks and the equipment and all of it.
100%. So I think that's kind of where we've been targeting, just because it makes more sense. And there's a process, to obviously go through and make sure, that is going to fit exactly what this buyer may be looking for. But all in all, industrial campus, in Cornelius there's only so much left, and the possibility there, like you said, is pretty endless, just making it make sense.
Part of the process too that if you've never done a commercial development project, there's zoning categories. And so if you look at the Unified Development Ordinance, particularly for, in this case, the town of Cornelius, and you look at what is permitted, what is conditionally acceptable, and what is not permitted for industrial, most of the time for many commercial projects, it still requires a go through the approval process, even if you may be allowed to do something. What are you finding when agents or buyers reach out to you guys for information? Because I know you love getting on the phone with them and you love fact finding and seeing what they're calling about. What's a common use that you've seen? Has there been a consistency of what people are interested in for that particular parcel?
Yeah, it's been pretty much some type of storage or, like you were saying, a multi-use opportunity where you may have, some type of living space above and then something below, whether it be some type of storage. I've also seen where, we're looking at potentially rezoning, in some cases, not still commercial, but depending on, well, look, there's so many different things around that area. Obviously you have the residential that's right across the street. And then we have Hyde Park that's right there. So there's all kinds of different zoning opportunities and so many different things on the other side, like the wedding venue that's there. So, the capability of
Towboat US Cornelius, I think, is right around the corner, right around the curve, right there.
A lot of small businesses, and then 131 Main's on the corner. So there's a lot of opportunity for any of those, and I think it makes sense when you potentially look at rezoning that obviously you need to have something close by, to be able to kind of advocate for that. So.
You're listening to today's Real Talk, 844 Studio 4 if you want to be part of the conversation. We welcome your questions, whether it be about this maybe particular parcel we're talking about. We're talking about an industrial parcel that Josh and his wife Charlene have listed on Bailey Road in Cornelius. It is an industrial parcel. How many acres is it? 3 acres?
It's 3.5 acres. Now, Bailey Road is potentially, we were just talking about this, being widened. And the plans that we know that are almost pretty much solid is it will take 1 acre of that property. So you have about 2.5 acres, maybe a little more left over. Yeah.
So, and Bailey Road, if you've not been on Bailey Road, whether you're accessing it from 115 or 21, there is about a 90-degree curve directly in the middle of Bailey Road, which is potentially going to be updated in the hopefully near future, one of the many road improvement projects. And so maybe you've got a question about the process, or maybe you've got something else real estate related. This is the time where you can call in anytime. 844 Studio 4, ask a question. Josh is a real estate broker. How many years you been a broker? You've been a broker for a while now.
Well, I've been in the business for just under 8 years.
8 years, nice.
Broker for about 4, half of those.
And then previous to real estate, you were in the financial space, right? Or
yes.
Health insurance? Was it financial?
Yeah,
it was health insurance, a little bit everything? What was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were an insurance wholesaler that wholesaled multiple products, from life insurance to safe money annuities. Yeah. So, annuities. I remember getting in, and I'm like, what in the heck is an annuity? And now I know, and we have safe money product, or they have safe money products over there, but that's what I push.
Yeah, maybe you've got a health insurance question for Josh. Maybe that's the level we need to get here is mental anxiety and mental health. That's also an important part of your daily life. Today's Real Talk. We're coming right back, Radio Fam. Stick around with us, 844 Studio 4 if you want to be part of the conversation.
There's more of today's Real Talk with Justin Ckezepis on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. This Friday, the Steel Wheels are performing at Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius. Come listen to the storytelling abilities of the Steel Wheels through Americana and folk music. Doors open at 7 and the show starts at 8. The Steel Wheels. This Friday, canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Start your engines, racing fans. The Bank of America Roval 400 is back to Charlotte. Sunday, October 8th, starting at 2 p.m. The Bank of America Roval 400 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Get your tickets before it's too late. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. No time to get to the apple picking at Kerrigan Farms? Apple picking ends September 30th. But you have your chance to go pumpkin picking. Starting September 30th, you can experience the pumpkin patch at Kerrigan Farms. Book your experience now at kerriganfarms.com. The All-American Dog Show is this Sunday in Cornelius, 2 until 5 p.m. Bring your furry friends with you. Come find out who has the fluffiest coat and see the cutest puppy in all of Cornelius. And be sure to come by the WSIC tent at the All-American Dog Show happening at Robbins Park in Cornelius this Sunday. For more info, visit cornelius.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, September 30th through November 19th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now look at your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center. Partly sunny skies out there right now. Your afternoon high will be reaching 81 degrees. As you head into the evening hours, mostly cloudy skies with that overnight low dropping to 62 before we get into some rain chances for Tuesday. This is your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center.
Older adults and those with chronic health conditions can build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in their mobility through the Statesville Family YMCA's Moving for Better Balance program. This is a 12-week virtual program that takes place Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 10 a.m. starting October 10th and running through January 11th. For more details, visit ymcanwnc.org.
Call now to speak with Justin at 844-STUDIO-4. It's today's Real Talk on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Today's Real Talk, the show that focuses on North Carolina real estate, business, and life. Justin Ckezepis, your host, North Carolina attorney, real estate broker, and investor here today. I heard a commercial. I was very upset. I almost called the president of Allen Tate over the weekend when during the Panthers game, I hear an Allen Tate spot, and whoever voiced it said Realtor. I almost lost my mind. I almost called them directly and said, you guys need to fire whoever that was because it's a Realtor.
Yeah.
It's Realtor.
Right.
There's no A in the middle.
No way.
People need to understand that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down with Josh Deering of Serhant, the Deering Group here, the Deering team, the Deering Group, the Deering team, the Deering entrepreneurship franchise,
That's
Megalodon.
Right.
Any
we'll
and
take
above.
any of those.
That's right. Or just Deering.
Yeah.
We just go by. Since it's Serhant period, are we going to see Deering period soon?
You know what? I thought of that. My logo is TDT. And here's what's funny is my colors matched his colors. We didn't plan it. I have
out.
blue and gray, or
Yeah.
blue and gray, and he has blue and gray. But I did have to change. So he's very specific, and it's cobalt blue. So I had to change my blue to cobalt blue. But I mean, you could barely even tell the difference.
It's minor.
Yeah. So TDT dot potentially.
There you go. See, I'd be on board with that. I think it flows well. It's a good part of the brand guide. Josh and his wife Charlene are heading to Miami this week. They're going to be speaking at a conference with the Serhant team in Miami. Give us a little preview. Like, are we storytelling? Are we just talking about how great the North Carolina market is? What are we doing down there?
Well, so as you know, networking is huge, and we network for several reasons, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's about expanding your marketing reach. And if you're able to network with people from all up and down the East Coast, agents that is from all up and down the East Coast, West Coast, wherever, you can expand your seller's reach, So when we're listing some of these bigger properties, we got some big ones coming up, as a matter of fact, but I think it's important to be able to target and, specifically put it in front of some of these big agents with big clients, because we all know, New York. People are coming from New York. They're coming from California. They're coming from Florida. So, we like to have a leg up. And I think we learned long ago that we really wanted to increase our Rolodex of top 1% of agents. And ultimately that's, for us, but also for our sellers, our clients.
Now, when you say big, are you meaning square footage wise? Or are you talking price wise, location wise? What is it that these big ones coming up where they just give me a number? Can you give me a number?
All right, so right now it's a firm exclusive.
Okay.
So I can't really tell you the address.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get you to violate any of the.
I know, but I can tell you the price.
Okay.
All right, but when I tell you, I want you to react the way you should.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
How about?
Let me guess.
Yeah,
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see.
For you to say big.
For me.
For you to say big, in my mind, this is me being. I think it's got to be north of 5 million.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then I'm probably close to, let's say, 7 to 11 million, somewhere in that range.
That's close, but you're still low.
No, dang, big dog in the room. Okay, how much?
16 million.
The number one listing in all Canopy right now is 22 million in Huntersville.
That's the island.
That's the island.
Ben's.
On Lake Norman, there is an island for sale. What is it? Governor's Island, I believe, is what they call it.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Maybe $22 million is what it's listed for. But you know what?
I think that's in Huntersville.
It is in Huntersville. It is in Huntersville.
So this one's in Mooresville.
Okay. I'm not even going to keep trying to pinpoint you down.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about this property is it's 16 million.
Is it President Trump's?
No.
Okay.
And it is going to it does have probably the longest range unobstructed view of Lake Norman than I think any listing year to date that is in right around this price range.
I got an email over the weekend, just listed email, marketing email from a broker for a Cheryl's Ford property, waterfront, 0.7 acres, 1.4 million for just a lot. Just a lot.
That's not bad.
That's not bad? That's your reaction? Is that's not bad?
No.
Okay, so I must be off because I was looking at this.
0.7?
0.7 acres.
Okay, so.
Open channel, 1.4.
Yeah, so there's one that, where is this? Also, Cheryl's Ford. That it's off market that I know about.
Okay.
It's also 0.7 and it's 1.1.
Oh, maybe rivals.
Yeah.
1.1.
And which one would you say 1.4 was?
Yeah, 1.4.
Yeah, that's a little high. Actually, this is.
And it included they already had plans drawn from an architect.
Okay, yeah, this is a straight teardown.
Okay.
And it's across the water from a $4 million house, but decent view, great lot.
Yeah.
It's actually over 0.7. It's right at. It's just under an acre.
Okay. Would you have ever guessed that the market here in the Lake Norman area would have gotten to where it is today?
If I had, Justin, I would have bought a lot of property. Because, my father, he worked for Duke Power, and I'm born and raised here.
Yeah.
So watching some of those, going back and looking at some of those, like, 2-acre lots sell for, like, 30, 40,000, it's like it kills me.
I know.
Dad, can I go back and tell my dad to buy up like 6 properties?
What are you doing, Dad?
Yeah. I would say more. I have to lean more towards it. It has surprised me because when I was young, growing up here, I'm like what's the draw here?
Right.
And now I know. Now that I'm older, I do know the draw, but I never would have thought then it would be where it is.
No, definitely not. And it makes me curious as to, okay, let's talk about what we believe the future to be.
Yeah.
You've been to New York more times than I have in the recent past. I consider the Lake Norman like the Long Island, where Charlotte, if that was Manhattan.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you're spot on. Obviously, without the twang.
Sure.
But I think that's a very accurate statement. We are in the process of I hate to say it, but it's just true. We're way behind New York. Way behind.
Oh yeah. And some people are okay. Some people don't want it to be like. And I'm not saying I want New York. I don't want that. I'm just saying in general. If I'm comparing.
And I mean, when I say way behind, I don't just mean like, the buildings and our growth and everything. What I mean is like the kind of homes that they're building and because some of these builders and developers, they are truly building properties that have hundreds of millions of dollars invested into these properties. Like just the other day, perfect example, I see, one slab of this amazing granite that I've never seen before, and it's like, I don't know, $40,000, $50,000 island or bathroom vanity, and I mean, we just things like that. Like we just don't have that or don't do that because I think a lot of these builders are so used to like we don't really need it, but some of these other builders that are coming in from like New York that do that on a regular basis up there,
The complete custom,
complete custom.
Yes, complete.
They
customization.
are
Yes.
they're not looking to like. I think they see there's a need for it here, but they're not looking to like, all right, I'm not saying builders do this, but ultimately you're trying to do the least amount, with decent finishes, high finishes, and get the most return you can get. And I think the taste here is starting to turn a little bit, and people are starting to want some of these like beautiful, massive primary bedroom closets, that are just $100,000, $200,000 closets that I've seen in some of these newer builds. And these guys they are builders from New York, and they're showing a thing or two to some of the builders here, just because the shiplap and all that stuff is it's going away.
You think that the trend is changing at this point?
I do.
Do you find builders, and you may not know the answer, and it's okay, from a perspective of to be constructed versus selling a finished product, are you seeing any shift in that perspective given the change in cost of capital right now?
So when you say to be constructed, are you talking like your Lennar homes? Are you just saying custom in general?
In general.
Okay.
The build. I mean, obviously your track home neighborhoods, right? I want to let's focus on the custom, right? Because I think that's that higher price point typically is the custom, and it does not necessarily higher price point. You can get a $300,000 or $400,000 in some areas. That's custom, but the perspective of the builder carrying the cost and just selling a finished product, versus buyer having to purchase the lot, and secure the contract with the builder, then the builder builds.
Yeah. I think the significant shift, if there is one, is from start to finish. It's with raw land going in. I think it's a lot cheaper, because I think once that finished product is done with a lot of these builders, and don't get me wrong, because sometimes builders just like they get carried away, and then they feel like their product is the creme de la creme, right? And then they you can do a custom build for, I bet you, $350 a foot, maybe 4 or lower. Some people are probably out there to listen, and they're probably saying we can go even lower, and they probably can. Versus, a builder who's already built. Like I have one now I listed for, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I have one now. It's up there.
Yeah.
In the price per square foot, and I feel like it needs to come down.
And this was a finished product.
It's all finished.
Yeah.
All finished, ready to go, turnkey. It's absolutely a stunner.
But now the market is telling them, hey, your price is maybe a little bit too high and I can't handle it.
That's right.
And who knows where we're going to be in the next 6 months at the end. What's the next cycle now? Are we at the top with rates? Are we not? There's a great topic we'll talk about. Are we at the top with rates? We're going to get Josh's take on that when we come back. You're listening to Today's Real Talk, 844 Studio 4 if you want to be part of the conversation. We appreciate you listening.
Keep it right here. Today's Real Talk with Justin Ckezepis will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
To some, this might sound like a typical family dog. But at Dog Chow, we know that for a veteran suffering from PTSD, this could be the sound of life-saving therapy.
Thanks, Betty.
That's why we've made it our mission to connect every military hero in need with a canine hero of their own. To learn about the simple ways you can help Dog Chow in our mission, visit dogchow.com/veterans.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
And now look at your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center. Partly sunny skies out there right now. Your afternoon high will be reaching 81 degrees. As you head into the evening hours, mostly cloudy skies with that overnight low dropping to 62 before we get into some rain chances for Tuesday. This is your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Ckezepis, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Always ready to help you make it fun to work outside. Little Shavers Wood Shop stocks up on all your wood, treated lumber, wood fencing, and all the treatment items to keep them looking great. PBG, paints, and stains, and add in some pine needles and Daddy Pete's mulch and soils, and your landscaping will be the best around. Tools, supplies, and just about all you need is ready for you at Little Shavers. Head on over to Little Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Highway, right in between Statesville, Morrisville, and Moxville. Visit LittleShaversWoodshop.com. That's LILShaversWoodshop.com.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Live music, vendor booths, and community yard selling. Fun for the whole family returns to Statesville for the WSIC Community Yard Sale, October 28th at 1117 Radio Road. Spots start at just $25, but spaces are limited. Get yours today at WSICnews.com/yard sale.
I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful.
The WSIC Community Yard Sale, October 28th, 6 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Ding, that's the end of that.
It's today's Real Talk with Justin Ckezepis on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC. News, talk, now.
Today's Real Talk, the show where we focus on all things North Carolina real estate, business, and life. Justin Ckezepis alongside Joshua Deering of Serhant here in North Carolina, the Deering team. And you guys are getting ready for Miami. You gonna get a little spray tan before you go down there? How you feeling about it?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah,
I am.
Are you really?
Charlene just got one, and she's like, "You need to get one. You're white."
She knows. She gets it, man. You're going to a different culture down there.
I know. I'm like, all right. So that's funny. You bring Justin. I've never gotten a spray tan before. I'm like,
I've never got one either.
She goes, "You could pick your color." I'm like, what does that mean?
Are you going urban bronze, or what are you going for?
I don't know, man.
No,
I've never done that before, or I'm not really a tanner either, But I will tell you, if I'm out laying out enough, or like at the beach enough, I can get dark.
Get a base.
Yeah, I can get a base.
You gotta get a base.
Yeah,
you can just spray it on though, make it easier for yourself.
I know. But yes, I am. I can't lie to you. I don't lie.
I appreciate that
I'm
about
getting
you.
A spray tan.
I look forward to the pictures to find out and to see, and then when you're up on stage, I think there's a thing though, like you have to wear the goggles, right? Like when you get it, but then you got to go back and like.
See, I don't know. Do you know that? Have you?
I've seen videos.
Have you spray tan, Justin?
No, I've never sprayed. Well, no, I take that back. I've used like the tanning lotion that has the fake tan in it.
Okay.
Have you done that one before?
I haven't.
It's not bad.
Okay. Well, this is kind of like that, right? But it's just
spray.
It just doesn't take as long.
Yeah, well, that's true. Is there a local spot you guys go to? Like,
well, one of my good friends owns Glow Body.
Glow Body.
Glow Body. Shout out to my girl Amanda.
Okay. Where is that located?
She went to North Met grad.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a big company, and they franchise it out. They're all around. Yeah, so
Solid.
And it is like they come to you. But I'm actually going to them for this one.
I was gonna say an at-home spray tan too. Like that's next level.
They do. It's almost like your old thing where like
mobile.
We come to you, baby.
The mobile. That's what it's about. The experience.
Absolutely. Now it's not in the back of a truck.
That would be pretty good though. That would actually be a good one. All right, so then let's talk about the experience right now for buyers, for sellers, particularly as it relates to interest rates.
Okay.
And if you want to be part of the conversation, 844-STUDIO-4, any question you may have today, Josh or myself can make up an answer and see if it's on point or not. Interest rates, mid-7s still is what you're seeing at the table?
Yeah, about 7.25, 7.5 in some cases. Yeah, they're floating up there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Are you finding that buyers are still quote-unquote qualified for that level of rate, or internal conversation with buyers, are they getting stressed out about that rate?
Well, I think there's definitely some stress there. And I think the stress is that, well, I mean, look, COVID rates, everyone's so used to those like 3, 2.5%, 3%, 3.5%, whatever. And so like, as this has continued to jump up and now you're talking 7.5%, they're just like turned off by it. But here's what they don't know and what they should know is cumulative days on market for homes are a lot longer. So, as these properties are hanging on, a lot longer, I mean, they're still holding solid value. They're just not jumping off the shelves right now, so sellers get antsy. So with that antsiness and those 30, 40 days on market, we're able to then utilize seller paid credits to help get their interest rate down, the buyer's interest rate. So that's what we're doing a lot. So we're trying to let them know, look, we can do like 2-1 buy downs,
So you've said 2-1 buy downs before. Give me the layman's terms of what you mean for a 2-1 buy down.
Yeah, so basically take when we go in and we're negotiating properties, I work with the lender to really understand, the buyer's needs. And with those needs, if we're trying to help them, potentially more with their monthly payments, I think the best way to approach that is to get seller paid credits. And how we do that is rather than money off the house, and I'm not saying we don't get money off the house, but ultimately we're going for more in seller paid credits. And then we use those credits to basically take your rate from, let's say, 7.25 to, somewhere in the 5s. And that usually is for the first year, sometimes first 2 years. And then your following year, obviously your rate goes up. But what that does is I want to say it kind of buys you some time because now your payments are a lot less. And potentially as the market rates start to come back down, you can always refinance. And when you refinance, we're hoping, in 2024, 2025, we're looking at, under 6 or 6.
People dream of those days again.
I know.
So what you're referencing basically is utilizing seller paid closing costs to buy down the rate, to buy points against the interest rate.
Correct. To buy points against the interest rate to knock that interest rate down.
Okay. You're listening to today's Real Talk, 844-STUDIO-4 if you want to be part of the conversation. We are sitting in here with Josh Deering of Serhant, the Deering team here in North Carolina. We're now joined by one of Josh's teammates
Yay.
Mackenzie, rocking the fresh hat, though, by the way. Wow. Okay. I don't think we've met before, have we? Maybe once?
I don't know. Maybe once.
I'm Justin. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Pleasure.
To meet you,
Thanks for
Justin.
joining us in the
Yes,
studio.
Of course.
All right. So now that you're in the hot seat, I got to ask you the tough questions. Ignore Josh in here anymore. Okay. When did you become a licensed broker here in North Carolina?
In 2020, August 2020.
August of 2020. So just at 3-year mark. What's it been like for you thus far, your experience?
Oh my gosh. Well, I got in the market right in the midst of COVID, and I remember starting to help buyers, a lot of my friends, first time home buyers, and it was when every interest rates were 2.5%, 3%. Everyone's going after the same house. We're putting 7 offers in before we get a house, and I'm like, I can't catch a break. Josh and Charlie are like, this is not normal. It's not usually like this hard. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess if I'm starting here, it'll only get better. And then finally, when I get to the point where I'm in it long enough to get listings and acquire listings, it has switched, and the listings are no longer flying off. And so it's been great. I've been with the Deering team since I started. They were my realtors when I bought a house before I had my license, and yeah, I love it. It's been a ride for sure, especially with this year. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of great changes, but yeah, it's been awesome. I love it.
So Josh and Charlene were your broker,
Mhm.
and they swindled you into coming to work with them after?
Actually,
Tell the truth.
no.
You can tell the truth,
No,
Mackenzie. You're amongst friends right
I
now.
would I will tell the truth. I was getting my degree in business marketing, and I did finish school, but they
At UNCC or where?
at UNCC,
Great
yep.
school.
They did not swindle me into it. I was selling my house with them, and I was COVID had just hit, so school was a joke. I wasn't working, I wasn't doing anything. My parents were like, you should really look into getting a real estate license. It like might be good for you. Something also to do because I literally was doing nothing. I was
Because
at
we're bored.
home. I
Let's
was
get a
bored.
broker
Yeah.
license.
Yeah. And so that's why I got my license. And then I called them and I was like, hey, if I get my real estate license, can I join your team?
Yeah.
They were like, sure.
A go-getter.
Of course. And so I did. And yeah.
Justin, I call her the queen. She is truly the queen of Charlotte.
Oh.
Because listen, she reminds me of what's the Robert De Niro with Casino.
Okay.
Okay, do you know
Familiar.
and then who is the main what's her name? The main actress in Casino.
Who he married? Who Robert De Niro married? I
Yes.
can't remember her name
Anyway,
as an actress, yes.
That reminds me of Mackenzie because listen,
About
she's-
Robert De Niro or the
no, the wife,
okay.
the wife who was like pretty much she was the brains of the operation,
Okay.
right? So Mackenzie is the girl who is always connected, always knows what's going on in Charlotte, knows what's happening. You know what new townhomes are coming up.
Yeah.
At every event possible, she's always there, and she's always networking. So she's just in the know. And to be a very successful broker like you're always in the know, man.
I just make it up most of the time. That's the easier route to do
Well,
it.
she's always in the know. So it's like I almost lean on her more than she leans on me because I want to know, hey, Mackenzie, what's coming up in Charlotte right now?
They needed a young girl
There
on the
you
team.
go. Someone new brainchild of the operation.
Yes.
I believe we've got a caller on the phone,
Oh.
Bill. If we're good there, let's go ahead and send him through. Who we got? Hey, thanks for calling today's Real Talk. How we doing today?
Hey, it's William. How you doing today?
William, my brother from another mother. How we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Sharon Stone was the wife in the movie.
Sharon Stone.
Sharon
My
Stone.
man.
There you go. Okay.
That's exactly who it was. And so, William,
Phenomenal
Mackenzie,
movie. Great movie.
and you know Sharon Stone, she was the connector, right? She did all basically the connections for Robert De Niro in this movie. Well, this is epitome of Mackenzie in the Queen City, except for the drug part.
Yeah, right.
We got about
Yeah,
30
she was
seconds
good.
before a
She was
break,
good.
William. Real quick, let me let our radio audience go, but we'll stick on digital and chat with you for a minute, William. Is that okay?
10-4.
Okay. All right, radio fan. We're coming back. 844 Studio 4 if you want to be part of the conversation. You can also be watching us right now, WSICnews.com, all the social platforms. We stream all of our content live. You can join us there. We're going to stick here for some exclusive digital content, so you're going to want to hop on there. Don't miss out. All right, William, we are on break on radio, sir, but we're still live on the digital. What's on your mind today?
New construction versus established construction. What is it looking like there when you're seeing stuff buying and selling? What's that looking like in the Lake Norman area?
Well, I think new construction is almost it's really tight because it's few and far between in Lake Norman. But when there is a new, a house that's being built, or someone finally lets go of a property, or someone who's had a property for years finally decides to move it. I think when someone comes in, it just depends on the acreage, right? They're going to try and maximize basically what they can put on that property. I know of about 2 or 3 really nice homes that's being built off of Nance Road, over there past the Griffin's old house, if you know the Griffins. But yeah, so I think they maximize that, and they put some beautiful luxury properties over there. But those are all going to be, they're all going to be built and then are finished, and then once those are finished, they probably will start to sell those. They haven't done any type of like pre-sale marketing or anything like that. So I think value will set for the next house, set the precedence for some of those over there, meaning once one sells, then the next one's probably going to go for a higher value than the next one. It's almost like a domino effect.
That's what happened with my uncle. He sold his place down in Miami recently, and it was a place next door, a couple houses down, that sold before his did, and then his sold. So it created that domino effect like you're speaking of.
Yeah, and then
it's kind of like fishing. It's kind of like fishing. Once one bites, then others start biting.
Exactly. That's right. Well, that's because when someone sells a house and they see what that neighbor got, now they're licking their chops like, oh, if he can get that, I can get this. So that's why that domino effect starts. Or like I said, if it's new, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to convince my uncle. He's still thinking about renting, and he's retired, and you got to have a source of income to pay that renter that monthly payment. And I told him, I said, if you've got the cash to spend, why don't you just buy something that's already established, or like I did so many years ago, have a stick-built house made. And I got into bed with the bank at 6.5% and stayed in it for 10 years or less, and then did a refi, got it down to 3.5 overall. On that note, I saved about $20,000. I've since paid it off, so I'm
William, we're about to join back with the radio fam real quick. Hold on, William, 1 second.
I see.
Today's Real Talk, the show where we focus on all things North Carolina real estate, business, and life. Justin Ckezepis, your host, joined in studio today by Josh Deering and Mackenzie. Mackenzie, I was going to try to pronounce your last name, but I didn't want to butcher it. I'm sorry.
I was waiting to see how you said it.
Amafar?
Amafar.
I wasn't too far off.
Everyone says it like
My
that.
last name's Ckezepis, so you can only imagine like how terrible it goes for most of the time. William's on the phone. William was asking us during the digital break there about the Lake Norman market, new construction versus existing inventory. Mackenzie, real quick, I'm curious to hear the Charlotte side of that too now on the air.
Yeah, so it's interesting because right now you're seeing a lot of deals to be had in new construction. I think new construction market's a lot slower. They were building a bunch of homes when they were just flying off, when interest rates were low. Now they're higher. They don't want to keep all those homes. Builders don't want to have 30 homes done just sitting there. So builders are offering a ton of incentives right now to buyers. They're offering to buy down your rate permanently, not just 2-1 buy down, but buy down permanently. I know of some builders, I get emails and calls and messages all the time, like, this week, if you go under contract, we're offering 5.25%. That's really, really low right now, and that's permanent. That's not temporary. So, and also they'll be like, and use our preferred lender or whatever, and you can get $15,000 in closing costs. So there's a 2-point rate drop with basically all your closing costs paid. All you have to bring is your down payments, and it really depends on the price point you're in. At lower, I would say this is happening under like 600,000. Anything above that gets a little more custom, and those are more sought after. But under that mark, under the 600 mark, you're gonna be able to find a ton of these deals right now. And so I'm pushing all my buyers, especially first-time buyers, looking in the 400 range, which is about average, like buy right now with these builders because you can get a hell of a deal.
Yeah, it's good to get a deal in the marketplace and to be with brokers that understand the marketplace. William, I'm curious, your uncle moving here from Miami, location. What about the Lake Norman area, when you have talks with your uncles, draws him in to want to move here?
Well, he's always been a fisherman. He's always been, active that way. So that's what the attraction is as far as Lake Norman goes. And other than the fact he's getting closer to his nephew, which is speaking right now, and family, so forth and so on. But, yeah, that's the biggest thing. But yeah, Cornelius, Lake Norman area, even though it's grown in the last 15 years, probably more than it has in 40 years, still is a walk in the park as opposed to Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The volume of people down there in Miami. Yeah, Miami's a neat town, but it's in my opinion, Miami is for the young generation. Because it's
only a number, William. Don't let him fool you like that. It's only a number.
I know, but it's 24/7 wide open down there in Miami, and I know that Lake Norman area is 24/7 to a point, but they do roll up the sidewalk still up here.
Yeah.
They don't down there in Miami. So
that's true. We appreciate you calling today, William.
I was just
Yeah,
I was just curious on the new, but that's a great incentive. What Mackenzie was talking about. Yeah, it's the no-brainer. Get into a new home and you get a better interest rate. Overall, you save money in the long run.
For sure.
By doing it that way, it sounds like, for sure.
That's right. William.
But yeah, that's useful knowledge. Thanks, people. Appreciate it. Y'all take care. Okay.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
William.
William.
We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Bye-bye.
Getting the call, the insight from William there. Okay, Mackenzie, so you got into the game in 2020, now 2023. Do you regret becoming a real estate broker?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. And I did it right out of college. I never had a corporate job. I never worked a 9-to-5 job. I figured I'll try it while I have still my parents' insurance and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's why I did.
Play the game. There's nothing wrong with playing the game.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. I had no regrets at all.
Well, you know what? Something that you'll like is, so her parents, she is in the know, like I said, and her parents are buying property through her now.
Oh.
So they kicked me to the curb,
That's
Justin.
it.
I used to be the broker. Now it's Mackenzie. But you know what? Like I said, Mackenzie's in the know down there. So they're she's finding some awesome properties, investment opportunities for them. And Fred and Kim, her parents, are from California. That's where they're from. So so we're slowly but surely reeling them in over here this way.
Yeah.
All right. So being the queen of Charlotte, what's your favorite, neighborhood in Charlotte?
Oh my gosh, my favorite is South End, but I'm such a South End girl. I love it there. I lived there for a few years, and I don't anymore, and I'm so sad. But
Don't be sad.
That's to me, like, maybe not the best place to buy because it's so expensive now, and honestly, it's a lot of renting apartments anyways. But that's my favorite neighborhoods, South End and Dilworth. But my favorite to buy in right now, talking Center City, would be like your Belmont neighborhood, not Belmont City. The neighborhood, Villa Heights, Shamrock. Those are the places to buy right now that are in a few years going to be like all the rave. All the breweries are going up there right now. Everyone's building. People are tearing down homes, building new big ones. That's where like a average home buyer can get in, but then see good return quickly.
It's very interesting to hear you mention Shamrock. So I grew up here in the area as well, and I used to go as a kid to Shamrock Skate Park. Yes, Shamrock Road, and the skate park that used to be down there. And so for that to be the revitalization, right, is very interesting because it was where everyone kind of, when you moved to Charlotte, you kind of hung around that area, and then it kind of took a little bit of a dip, and now it's on the rise again. And revitalization is a big conversation across multiple markets. North Carolina as a whole, Charlotte, many of the areas. Are you finding a lot of teardowns at this point?
Yeah. I would say there's more teardowns than flips because at this point the land costs what it costs, no matter what house is on there. And so there'll be a house that you could flip it, but what's the point when you can make way more money just building something new, and it's way less work to build something new than it is to try to figure out this old house that's falling apart.
Right.
It's easier to rebuild than to take that and turn it into something good again when there's just probably so many issues with it anyways. I see a lot more teardowns in that aspect.
It'd be interesting to ask the MLS to add a quantifiable measurement of teardown, because I would be curious at this point to know, because you can't know that, right, by a checkbox in the MLS. You have to just know individual property. So I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
We're definitely seeing in the Lake Norman area. I mean, that right now at this point, it's tear down the waterfront, shack and build the mansion.
Exactly.
That's what we're seeing pretty much everywhere.
Except they don't necessarily do teardowns. What they do now are controlled fires. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've seen
They
it before.
burn them down?
Yeah,
I've not seen that.
Oh, yeah. So what they're doing is, obviously, the fire department needs a way to train some of their, I guess you could call them rookies. So they go in, and as long as you make a donation, this is kind of a secret I have. So
Do tell.
I'm revealing it to all my listeners. So listen, yeah, it's a great way to save money on a full, complete teardown, where you can just throw a little donation to the fire department, and then next thing you know, they're using the house as a controlled fire training opportunity, and there you go. Now you get your
It's a
house
win-win.
burned down to the ground for next to nothing.
Pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar.
That's it.
But everyone wins, Justin.
Bye-bye, Grams memories. We'll see you in another life.
Grams.
That's
memories.
it.
Oh, man, that's great.
Mackenzie, I'm curious to hear your thoughts then on the future, because now that you've, from the broker perspective, do you think we will see all-out warfare from brokers, or will there be peace in the marketplace?
Brokers, as in like me and Josh?
Sure, like against each other, pitted against each other, buyer and seller, one-on-one.
I don't.
No holds bar.
I honestly, I feel like the longer we go, as time goes on, I feel like people realize that it's easier to work together than it is to work against each other. You can get a lot more done when you work together. The deals that go the smoothest are the ones where you have a good agent on the other side. When you're fighting or they're just combative with you, those are the worst ever. Even if the clients involved are fine, an agent, a good or bad agent on the other side makes all the difference. So I think that in some cases, but I don't think that it'll keep going that way. I think there's going to be less agents in the market as it gets harder. They're going to fall off, thank goodness. And then, yeah, I think that people will start to collaborate more because they'll realize it's easier to do that and you get a lot more done.
100%. I'm full agreement.
Well, I can see why you like Mackenzie on your team going for the peacemaker approach. You know what I mean? Because that is part of the market, right? Is understanding it doesn't have to be adversarial, right? The point here is there should be a meeting of the minds. There's a ready, willing, and able seller, a ready, willing, and able buyer, and the market is going to dictate the terms of the agreement. And understanding and accepting that, there was such this pendulum, right, of sellers controlling 100% of the marketplace. I in the deep thick of COVID, it was a 100% seller-controlled marketplace. There's no denying that. Has it shifted completely back to buyers now? Are we 50-50? Who's got more leverage, would you say, in the marketplace?
I think it depends on where you are.
Exactly. Technically, it's a seller's market because there's only like a month and a half of inventory, if that. In a even market's 6 months of inventory. But like Josh said, it depends where you're at. Depends how it's priced too. You know, there could be a waterfront property on Lake Norman that's priced too high, so it'll sit for a year. If it's priced right, 10 buyers may go after the same one because there's not a lot on the lake for sale. So
yeah, but sometimes it's just, Justin, it's just so hard to get your seller to buy in to the correct price, because that house down the street that sold, 6, 7, 8 months ago for that price, and then now you're trying to like convince them that it's just not like that anymore. It can be hard, man. Yeah. Because they want to start somewhere, but then next thing you know, all right, you're like, okay, let's start there. Let's start where you want to start. And then 30 days goes by. Yeah. And then 40, and then you're trying to drop, and then it's 50, 60, and next thing you know, you're on for 90 days or more, and it's
another stat to track would have been interest rates. If we would have had that in MLS, would it come float? Not just like that it closed conventional and what seller concessions were, but interest rates would have been a good one to know too. Yeah. So you've been listening to today's Real Talk. We appreciate you. WSICnews.com. Click radio shows. You can listen anytime.
The new 105.9, 100.7 W.